I grew up in a small town with a population of 35,000 people. And after living there for most of my life, I moved away to Vietnam. And I've been here for 8 years now. So after that much time in such a wildly different place, it's going to affect you and you're going to change. This video, we're going to talk a little bit about how I've changed in the past 8 years living so far away from where I grew up in a completely different environment. So my hometown, it was pretty isolated, and to get anywhere you had to drive about an hour to get to another reasonably sized town, which would be like 50,000 people. And to get to another city of like 1 million people, you pretty much have to fly. And it's not until you go somewhere that's very different and you stay for a very long time to let those new surroundings and influences sink in to change you and the way you approach things and the way you view things and handle it, kind of change you as a person. And I look back all the time on things that I used to do, and like I'm really not, I would never do those kind of things again. Which, I mean, some of them are like kind of bad, I would say. Some of them are just silly. Like on one side of it is like playing jokes on people, and another side is just how often I swore. I've only been back to my hometown once in the past 8 years, and I think the first thing I noticed was how much everybody swore. And I still say curse words a lot, but not nearly as much as I started to do when I got back to my hometown. My internal dialogue still sounds a lot like but being around people that don't swear as much, and part of my job is just that I work with kids, I don't swear nearly as much as I used to. And working with kids, you really do have to use more friendly language. And then you can kind of just take that and keep it. Like instead of saying, I don't even want to curse on my video, but what I'll say a lot is, oh my goodness. I say that all the time because I think it's fun, and it kind of, makes light of whatever the situation is. Just be like, oh my goodness. Like whatever's wrong, you say that, and it's not a curse word, and it kind of wears the edge off of whatever the situation is. Kids are going to pick up on curse words, and you have to teach them about that, especially when there's a language barrier and students don't really know the good words from the bad words. It's always fun when you get some kids in class and you get them saying that, and you'll hear the kids running around saying, oh my goodness. So that's always fun and nice to see. Another trait that has really become important for me is patience. And there's so many times where living in a different country that there's a language barrier or difference, things are just a little different, and it might seem like somebody's trying to take advantage of you, or they're being rude to you or whatever, but it's just a thing of like, that's not how it works here. A very innocent example would be like when you go to the shop and you're trying to pay for something, and they might say something like, they say 60,000, but the price tag says 50,000, and it rings up like 50. And it's not like, it can be very an instinct to think, oh, they're trying to charge me more money, but that's usually not what it is. It's just that the language barrier, they got their 50 and their 60 words mixed up, and they said the wrong word, and it was an honest mistake. Another example is like this crosswalk, and a lot of countries, they're gonna stop for you and let you cross because pedestrians have the right of way. But that's just like not really a thing here. And you see, like, nobody's gonna stop for me. And having more patience, it helps two ways. Like, first, it just helps like prevent that getting upset in the first place. And second is like when something does go wrong, you kind of just let it go more easily. The other day I was somewhere and I got my numbers mixed up, my Vietnamese numbers. And the guy said Moi Hai, which is 12. But I thought he said Hai Moi, which is 20. So I gave him 20 and left. And I didn't really think of anything about it until like I'm like riding home and I was like, oh man, I gave him too much money. Which actually like, so I kind of got a little frustrated, but also like I gave him an extra 8,000, which is like 30 cents. And that's just not a thing to get worried about. Where am I? Where am I going? I need to go. We'll go a different way. I'll go this way. People will come to countries in Southeast Asia and complain about the foreigner tax, where foreigners are charged more money than the locals. But often, it just isn't worth getting worried about. Like, yeah, you might get charged an extra, like, $1 or $2, but who cares? Like, it's just not worth getting worried about that much. Kind of along the same lines as that is that I'm just more, I just don't care about things that I don't need to care about. It's like the opposite of like being a Karen, because Karens care about everything. They get upset and they start fussing about stuff. But like here, I mean, there's so many things that you can get frustrated about. You'll never be happy. I don't know if that applies to like all expats and moving to different countries, but definitely in Vietnam. And I hear a little bit like Thailand too and stuff, but expats have a problem where some people think moving to Southeast Asia is going to be the answer to all their woes, but then there's like these little things that stress people out, and people kind of go nuts. People like will actually go crazy on all these little things that bother them, and they can't let it go. Letting go is a good one too. Like in traffic, I mean, you see this stuff, it's pretty crazy, and the rules are pretty flimsy and bendy here. And you'll be driving along in traffic and all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. People cutting you, beeping at you, cars cutting you off, almost hitting you, and all kinds of stuff happens, and it can get really frustrating. But the most important thing, I think, is just to let it go. As long as you're not hurt, you didn't get knocked over or anything like that, I mean, just let it go and keep going. Don't get yourself all worked up and upset, then get yourself in an accident because you're too mad at the guy behind you that you're not looking at the road in front of you. I think that applies to life. I mean, things happen. There's nothing you can do about it once it's done. Just take that hit and keep on going. Where am I? Where am I going? I want to dovetail all this into the idea of caring about other people. Because I kind of think that like just being nice and caring about other people is like one of the most important things you can do. I'll see people and they'll have some sort of incident, some sort of language barrier incident where they'll be fussing with the clerk at the convenience store or some local shop owner or whatever, and there's all these little things that can get people really frustrated, and they get all mad about something where there's all these other influences and they're taking it out on another person, and it's that person that's taking the brunt of it when it's not their fault. So you can imagine being that clerk, and you don't know that much English, and you say the price is 60,000 when the price is actually 50,000, and then the foreigner gets all mad and starts yelling at you, gets upset about stuff. You really don't understand or what's going on, or why they're upset, or you just made an innocent mistake. And now the person that's angry, they ruin somebody's day for like no good reason. Where if you had some patience, understanding, and kind of really took in the big picture of all these other things that could affect what's the way you see the situation, like you could be like, okay, I'm just gonna speak with them politely and kindly, and make sure that treat this other person with respect. The outcome's probably gonna be the same, and you're not gonna ruin somebody's day, and you don't look like the asshole in the situation. Now there's one more thing, and I think it's pretty you see it a lot right now with like the conspiracy theory thinking, where everybody's out to get you. Nobody's out to get you. Nobody cares about you. And this idea that everything is happening for a purpose and it's a big master plan. There is no big master plan. People love to toss around the term they, and there is no they. Like, there's all these different people in the world, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Nobody's controlling anything, and people make mistakes, and you see it all the time. But as soon as it's like somebody that's above you in a higher station in life, of like a government person or a CEO or some big company, then it's all of a sudden like a conspiracy about how they're out to get you. And you have to accept the chaos of the world to, so you don't take it personally. You have the patience to accept people's mess ups and how things don't go right. There's the old saying that don't attribute to malice what you can attribute to incompetence or whatever. And I think that's true. So I've worked with the Marines, I've worked with a police station, I worked as a pizza delivery driver, I've worked as an English teacher, and as an English teacher I work with people all over the world. And I just come up with the conclusion that people are just people. And they're not all smart. Some are dumb, some are hardworking, some are lazy, some are funny, some are not funny, some are nice, some are not nice. And so I just people are people. And that's kind of my conclusion. So, and people are flawed. People are flawed and they make mistakes. And no matter how much you try to plan on something, people's limitations, they get in the way, and yeah, there's nobody in control, and that's a good thing. We're all out here trying to do the best we can. Looks like I found a new little garden thing. It looks like the garden was from Tet, and I don't know, they're shutting her down now, but well, yeah, I found this looks kind of nice. As a summary, yeah, I'm more patient. I choose to care about what there is to care about. Don't let things get me upset. Let things go. And realize that people are flawed and they make mistakes. And, I think all that makes me a better person. And I think it'd make everybody else a better person, too, if they thought about that. Here's the river. Take a little look at the river. Got some high tide today. Looks a little deep. So I think that's about it for this video. If you like it, go ahead and give a thumbs up. If you have any questions about living in Vietnam, love to answer those. And if you want to see more videos about living and exploring Asia, subscribe to the channel. And then I'll see you guys in the next video, huh? Justin out.